intense fight between his parents, the innocent child not understanding the complex problems of adults and the misery they bring with themselves. Ron, the child of the parents, goes on to sleep when he becomes hunted by a monstrous entity known as Mr. Redface, a large, scary-looking being who tortures and hurts innocent people. Late at night, Ron, the child protagonist, hears the door getting knocked on. Opening the door, he witnesses his mother, tired and a little phased, apologizing for being late again back at home, blaming work to how late the shift finished. Ron, who is a little upset, explains it was his birthday today and something the mother should have cared about and actually tried to come back home earlier, which makes her realize in shame that she forgot, yet not admitting to it, saying how she didn't forget and that Mr. Redface has prepared a gift for him for being a good kid. But to make sure he receives it is for him to go back to bed already, as it is too late for him to stay awake, seemingly being under 10 years old. That's when the grumpy and restless father stands up from his chair and gets to the door, interrogating the wife to where she has been, saying how he doesn't buy her story of having late shifts, being late like this for the past several days. This depicts how her shifts possibly end hours before the time she comes home, making it very suspicious to what she is actually up to. She has been late very frequently, seeming as if she might be even a little tipsy or drunk, also forgetting her own child's birthday, a special day which she should never forget. The father orders Ron to go to bed, being very upset, saying how they have an adult conversation which he shouldn't be around to listen to, seemingly being an argument, clearly showing they have marital issues. Unfortunately, many times when parents have marital issues, the kids are the ones who experience the full blow of the damage, at times being neglected, unlistened to, or even emotionally or physically hurt as a way for parents to dump their frustration. Little Ron goes to bed, being innocently ignorant, falling asleep, excited Mr. Redface will get him a present. While sleeping, in a state of deep sleep and semi-consciousness, he sees his door open with a horrifying person with a red face staring at him, walking to the corner of the room and placing something on the floor before everything blacks out with Ron waking up to a new day. Not sure what he saw was real or a dream, he goes to the corner of his room where he finds a box. Inside he finds a doll, so happy that Mr. Redface got him a present, revealing the horrifying character that he saw while sleeping was in fact Mr. Redface. Taking the doll with joy, something even more wonderful is revealed, that the doll is able to talk, being in the shape of Ron and even having the same name, promising little Ron that they will be best friends from now on. Ron, being very happy and excited, notices something off with the doll, with his neck being crooked. Asking about it, the doll explains that his master occasionally makes mistakes, referring to Mr. Redface, as if implying that Mr. Redface has done this to him. After being advised to open the closet as the master has stored all his toys there, it appears to be locked, which in a way shows that Ron's toys are the doll's toys, effectively making them the same person in two bodies. The doll goes on to explain their senses, emotions, feelings, and everything else has been linked together, hence asking Ron to go and eat something as it's feeling hungry, saying how if Ron eats, it's as if the doll eats as well. Going to the fridge, Ron finds a note left behind by the mother.
I made you food, dear, so remember to heat it up before eating. Lately, I noticed you're getting lazy about eating. I don't have much time at home, so please learn to take care of yourself and stop making me worry. Also, don't forget to take your medicine after eating.
This displays how the mother is barely home, with Ron being left on his own to take care of himself, while being maybe even 6 years old, as he doesn't seem to be going to school. Ron doesn't seem to also have his father taking care of him, depicting the parental negligence that he experiences, which is a form of abuse, as for children under a certain age, this can be dangerous to their health and upbringing. To add more to the difficult life Ron has, he also has some sort of medical health condition which he needs to take medicine for, something that needs to be monitored by guardians to ensure the safety of the child. Heating up the food in the microwave and eating it on the table, the doll makes a claim that he knows magic and can make the food reappear after being eaten. As the food reappears after being done, Ron is shocked and excited at the same time, asking Ron to do more. That's when something really bizarre happens, with a bottle of wine levitating and being drunk by an invisible force, with a momentary image of Ron's angry father appearing before disappearing, when all of a sudden the bottle shatters into pieces. Ron, starting to stress and shake that his father will awaken and whoop him, asks the doll what happened, when the doll says it doesn't know. Sadly, this shows how the father is a deadbeat who doesn't have any job and stays home, sleeping long hours, not giving a damn to take care of his child, someone who relies on medicine. Maybe the mother does in fact work long hours to support the child and the deadbeat of a husband, while he is a loser who makes both their lives miserable. Worried that his father will wake up and beat him, the doll calms Ron and tells him not to worry, as the master Mr. Redface has gotten rid of the father and Ron doesn't have to worry about him any longer. Going to check on his father to see what happened, he observes that his bed is empty, with him nowhere to be seen, with the doll sitting on a table as if teleporting to the room.
As I said, my master has taken your dad away. Your dad is a bad person. He often hits and yells at you. Parents like that are taken away by my master to protect children like you.
Despite the father being actually a horrible person, Ron still loves him, displaying how innocent he is. He begs the doll to bring his father back and pleads his goodness when the doll gives up, saying he will show him the way, which is only accessible through portals found in the closets, as the place the father is held is very, very far. The doll explains he will help him to get to his father, but to be careful, as the master won't be too happy. Following the doll's instructions, Ron uses his father's radio as a way to navigate through different portals when he opens the door to a place where he finds a corpse. Ron dismisses this and quickly changes the frequency when he opens the door to a void-like place, with the doll explaining that it's the right place. Being scared yet pushing himself to be brave to save his deadbeat of a father, he goes through the door, entering a surreal realm where he meets a bookkeeper cat. Describing his father, who is named Bruce, who hits, slaps, and yells at him, the cat pinpoints who he is, directing him to go through the door behind. The cat seems to be an agent of afterlife, keeping books of all types of people, good or bad, directing them to places where they belong. 3 random kids jump out from different places, pulling a prank to startle him. 1 kid is from the trunk of a car, 1 emerges from a bonfire, and another from a hole in the ground. The kids explain they are just like Ron, looking for their parents. This clearly has a tragic backstory relating to how these kids ended up in here, but we'll get back to that later on this video. Unlike the kids who seem to be around a bonfire enjoying their time together, as Ron goes through the door, he witnesses his trembling and shaking father lying on a bed in a checkered room. The father is severely traumatized to the point that he cannot respond to his surroundings, shouting and repeating the same thing, begging someone to stop punishing him. Despite how much Ron tries, he cannot wake his father up, as if he is doomed to suffer here for what he had done. That's when a large, gigantic arm emerges from behind, pulling Ron out of this world, taking him back to his realm, finding himself back in the closet, being scolded by his mother. Being confronted by the mother, she unveils what is actually going on. She explains that Ron has psychosis or schizophrenia, with this time not being the first. The doll seems to somehow be a trigger, making Ron hallucinate, especially when he doesn't take his medication. The mother seems even happy or sarcastic when Ron explains Mr. Redface has taken the father, displaying how she even has enough of the father. Despite all that, poor Ron still cares for him and wants to save him. Telling him to go to bed as it's midnight, Ron goes on to go to his bed when he enters his room, having a severe episode of seeing Mr. Redface, who startles him. This causes him to faint due to extreme fear when the mother rushes to the room, comforting him, promising that she will take a day off tomorrow to stay with him and take care of him. As the night comes to an end, Ron wakes up all alone in the house, muttering to himself how the mother has broken her promise again, just like many times before, displaying how she keeps on leaving him all alone. As Ron goes to find his doll, he finds the doll badly beaten to a pulp, a result of doing something Mr. Redface didn't approve of, getting punished for it. Mr. Redface accordingly took the mother away as well, and he seems to be planning to come back to take Ron as well. The doll being in despair, thinking all is gone and Ron should run away, Ron reveals something he picked up from his father's prison in the other realm, being a spell which can seemingly defeat Mr. Redface. Following the doll's instructions, Ron goes back to the realm through the parents' closet, throwing the spell card into the mother's prison cell, who's weeping and crying in agony. Taking cover and hiding with the other kids behind the car as Mr. Redface goes to the mother's cell to torture her. The spell causes him to be defeated with a sound of explosion being heard. Going back to the real world, the doll explains the master has been defeated, and with him gone, the magic making the doll alive is also fading, a fate the doll is happy about. He advises Ron to go out and see his freed parents. While happy and excited to see his parents, it all seems to be back to the first night when the mother came back home late. A tense exchange between the parents reveal how the mother has been having an affair with another man, being sick and tired of a bum the husband is, while the husband slaps the wife as he has nothing better to say or do. The wife, having enough of having to support this deadbeat, draws the line, demanding a divorce, leaving the house, saying whether he has to leave or she will come tomorrow and take Ron away with her. As soon as the mother leaves, the house gains a depressive and dark aura. The events then progress rapidly, as if Ron is skipping through the key moments, reliving the experiences that he had in a more vivid and real way. It's revealed the levitating bottle was not due to magic, but his father drinking and finishing the bottle in order to get drunk. In a fit of drunken rage, Bruce, the father, living a miserable life and not willing to see his family move on from his toxicity to be happy, goes to his son's room and unfortunately strangles him to death, which causes his neck to break as a result. He then goes on to stuff his corpse in the closet, explaining why Ron couldn't open his own closet. All this time, Mr. Redface was his father, as his face glitches, revealing the real horrendous monster. The angry person with a red face, a horrifying monster, the master of the doll, who he mistreats. All along, the doll with the crooked neck was Ron, the knowing part of him which he has been ignoring, with himself trying to deny the dark truth in order to protect himself and his father. Ron has been denying the fact that his father is a horrible person, lying to himself that he is good. Hence why every time the doll failed to make him accept to move on, his memory would reset to the first night his father murdered him. This unfortunately resulted in him looping for 14 days, reliving the same horrible night. For the deadbeat, however, he ran away to a cheap motel room where he is suffering for his actions. He is in fact in a room which acts as his prison, shivering and shaking, seeing the rotting corpse of Ron hunting him, telling him to come back home, essentially a different version of the process of Ron going to Mr. Redface's realm, asking the father to come back. Despite having good intentions for such a horrible monster of a father, wanting to bring him back home, saving him, the father rightfully suffers, seeing the rotting corpse of Ron hunting him, begging him to stop punishing him, repeating the same words he said in the surreal world, displaying how his soul has been damned to live with his sins. For the mother, she comes back the next morning, seeing the corpse of her child stuffed in the closet, replaying the time that she finds him and scolds him in the alternate reality. But in the real world, she screams and breaks down in tears, sorry for not being there more often for her son. Interestingly, the spell that he found in the father's prison cell in the surreal world was in fact the business card of the motel with its address, which he dropped in the mother's room in real life, being the interrogation room the mother is speaking to officers about the whereabouts of the father. Ron's soul trying to help his parents and save his father, being so innocent-minded, in fact finds the motel's business card the father is staying in and unknowingly passes it to the mother, which allows the officers to find the monster Mr. Redface, the angry waste of space father, putting him behind bars where he belongs to rot for the rest of his useless life. Despite the horrible and sad ending, with the mother mourning the loss of her son, Ron gets approached by the other kids in the afterlife, who all go on to move on and live a happy ever after, free from their terrible parents. The other kids said that they were looking for their parents as well, which means that they were unknowingly hunting them so they can be punished and face the consequences of their actions. The ending shows how one of the kids is lying in a grave in the ground, another being inside the bonfire, and another inside the trunk of a car, which is all explained when Ron is found inside the closet. These places are the spots the murderous parents hid the corpses of their children after unjustly killing them. Children who seem to be under 7, suffering from the sins of their parents, the frustration of their miserable lives, being dumped and abandoned in the trunk of a car, buried in a forest, or burned to hide the evidence and save their useless lives. Despite this tearjerker of a story and ending, children finally managed to move on from their parents. Parents unworthy of their love and innocence, living a happier and carefree life away from the problems of their miserable parents. And that's about it for this video, folks. As always, it's been your host Star. Thank you for being here, and I will see you on another one.